While the house is prepared for our dinner, Samir and his father show us around the nearby pottery factory.
Wow. So this is where you make the pottery?
Yeah, this is the factory of the village, where they're making pottery.
It's amazing. And that's from the kilns?
Yeah, this is the
from the oven?
Of the oven.
Wow. Can we go and see how it works and what's happening?
As Samir takes us around the pottery yard, he explains the process. Clay from a local riverbank is brought over by donkey. The clay is then mixed with water in one of these big holes. It's then left for 5 hours before being scooped up and spread out by hand, as you can see our friend doing here. The clay is then left to thicken overnight and is ready to work with the following day.
This is like cooking. It really is.
Yeah.
It's about feeling, and you know,
Yeah, like when you to prepare the bread.
and you know when it feels right. When
Yeah.
you have to feel and use your hands.
That
to
comes
get
with
the right
experience.
texture. Woo! This is so skilled, and you don't realise. I think he makes it look easy, but you don't realise how difficult this is until you try it yourself. And a couple of years ago, because I'm passionate about handstone pottery, absolutely passionate. And a few years ago, I wanted to find out what it felt like to make pots, and I spent a week with a potter trying to learn. And I tell you, he makes it look like a doddle. This is so hard. And after 1 week, I managed to make 1 pot and 1 jug, and they're quite clunky. I'm very proud of them, but he would laugh.
Yeah. But it really does need a lot of skill to be able to coordinate the right speed with your feet to get just that.
And also to control the clay. He's in charge of the clay. And when you first begin to learn, the clay is in charge. And he's tamed it.
Once the bowls have been thrown, they're laid outside in the sun to dry. After 24 hours, rough edges are smoothed off and mouldings or patterns are added before leaving them to dry for a final 3 days.
Oh yes, a rinse is that.
Then it's off to the ovens, which are heated to a ferocious 1,000 degrees.
Moly.
This is the oven, as you say. They are a traditional oven.
You can't see.
Samir explains that the ovens are made on 2 levels. The bottom level is for the fire and the top for the pottery, with only a small hole between the 2 for heat. And, as importantly, another hole at the top to let the copious smoke escape. But before it goes into the oven, the pottery is coated in a glaze, which is transformed by the heat to the distinctive green of Tmkroot.
What I find totally amazing here is this is a process that has been going on just like this, I suspect, for thousands and thousands of years. And it's almost kind of like an inferno, and with the smoke billowing out. It's breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking. And what comes out of these dark, hell-like ovens are these beautiful, graceful pieces of green pottery. I'm spellbound, spellbound.
The hospitality of these generous Berber people continues. It's time for dinner. Our meal of chicken, vegetables and dejo omelette is piled up over a mound of couscous in classic Moroccan style. Carpets and a table have been laid out in the courtyard for all guests to join in. Shoes are removed and hands are washed. It's extremely convivial as we all eat from the same dish.
Just this way, this is great, because here we are sitting down. I notice that before they start to eat, they say Bismillah,
Yes.
which means...
This means the name of the God Almighty.
And is that
It's
kind
basically no more or less like what Christians do, which is, what do they call it, a prayer prior to meal?
You say grace.
Grace, that's the word I was looking for. It's, yeah, it's a very speedy grace.
And now can you tell me what we're eating here? Because this is just brilliant.
It's a real typical Berber couscous, based on the same idea of 7 vegetables. The intriguing part is
This and that.
this, Apparently, it's a really ancestral recipe that people prepare when they have guests, and you can serve it with couscous as they've done for us here, or sometimes they make it like a, like a starch or like a little omelette.
I don't know quite how to describe it because it's not like an omelette. It's like nothing I've ever tasted before. It's delicious.
Yep.
But it's got a little bit of chilli in it. It's got all kinds of spices. It's solid because he said there was flour in it, wasn't it? And it's been cooked in a dish, so it's thick and chunky.
The reason for that shape it's been trapped in a little plastic bag to give it a shape, and then I think it's been steamed.
It almost tastes as if there's something meaty in there as well. What's in the...
A bit of fat, a bit of equivalent to lard.
Right, so it'd be sort of rendered down. Would that be lamb fat?
شحمة ديال الغلمي. Yeah, that's right.
Once we've finished our main course, the moment comes for Khalil to present his pudding.
ثم طيبتوا لنا داك الكسعة وانا جبت لكم شويه ديال السلو ديال الصفوف صبتهم لكم هذا الصباح. مع قلت انا هذه المنطقه فيها اللوز. خصنا نديروا شي تاع اللوز. Yeah, I just said that you guys cooked for us a nice couscous. I thought this morning to use something that is locally produced, i.e. the almonds, and we'll try all together. بسم الله. ذوقوا قولي ايش كنت. I will put it in a plate or try it directly there.
Oh,
Very, very nice.
very, very nice. Good.
Very rich, huh?
It's very rich. That's aniseed scent just floating through. It's delicious. And it's surprisingly firm. It's really quite hard now, isn't it?
That went down well, but I couldn't possibly say goodbye to the Aidani family without a quick visit to one of the pottery shops. Well, it would be rude not to, wouldn't it? But there's still one last thing to see before trekking back to the hotel. So, here we are, standing in front of the famous Timbuktu sign in Zagora, lit by our car headlights, because we arrived rather late. Which had absolutely nothing to do with the amount of time I spent in the pottery shop. Honest.